Well then, good evening everyone! For today's live stream, we are finally unboxing the Ultimaker 3. So, just to get this out of the way, you guys are watching live, obviously there is going to be a recording. If you're watching the recording afterwards, this is not a review, this is not scripted, this is not, well, it's sort of planned, I'm sort of prepared as always, but it's not a review, it's not a scripted thing. We're doing everything live, well, mostly everything. So the one thing I didn't do live is I opened the box and checked that the machine is okay, because I was asked to do that. But otherwise, everything else is 100% unplanned for, unaccounted for, unscripted, and unedited. All right, is this sponsored? No, this is not sponsored. I did get the machine as a review unit. It actually says on here demo unit, not a sponsored stream as usual. It's just my first impressions of what the Ultimaker 3 looks like and how it performs. NFC was working, no, whether anything was actually physically smashed. So today we also have two guys from iGo3D, the German reseller that provided me with the machine. We've got Martin and Tim. Those guys are in chat, so if you've got any questions that they can answer as a reseller, then go ahead, ask them in chat. They will be there and responding to you where they can. Right, I guess let's take a look. Nope, that's not what I want to take a look at. There we go. So yeah, obviously this box is already open. Welcome to your new Ultimaker. So apparently there's an app now. I don't know if we're going to try that out. Maybe if we got time during a print, we can try that out. But obviously the Ultimaker 3 is Wi-Fi connected and all. And there we go. This is going to be a bit hard to lift out, so I'm just going to set this thing down real quick. There we go, and there it is. Easiest unboxing ever. Right, so we did lose the power cord in here. There you go, standard 3-pin power cord for you. Now, obviously, obviously the big thing with the Ultimaker 3 is dual extrusion. And yes, it is expensive for that reason. Yes, it is $3,500 depending on where which country you buy it in. It's like $3,500 and €3,500 roundabout. And obviously the people that are going to complain that something like the Prusa i3 at $700 is expensive are going to complain that this machine is expensive as well. But I think it's like, first of all, it's a novelty, and dual extrusion also adds a lot of value to the machine and has the potential to put consumer or FDM 3D printing at a whole new level. At a whole new level, and enabling applications that just weren't possible before. Right up top here we got two sample spools. These are rather light. These are 350 grams of PVA and 350 grams, 350? Yeah, 350 grams of PLA. Just small little starter spools. Also a test print made with this Ultimaker. Let's grab that. So there we go. A little, where's our focus today? Wow, that focus is far back. So just a little test print, a dual extrusion sample, black and silver, and yeah, it looks like this machine works. That's how much I can deduct from this print already. The machine works. That's great. So yeah, apparently there is a risk of shipping damage, and I did take this one out. Yes, it's not ready to print immediately. We're gonna fix it right away. So yeah, unboxing. There is actually a full manual on how to unbox this thing, so might want to pull that up in a minute. But generally, it's like, you know, it's a machine and that's it. So lift that out and we're ready to go. Now, the original box, you can reuse that as a transport case. So these styrofoam parts for the top and bottom, and of course this strap right here, you should keep them and use them to travel around and stuff if you don't want to carry around the Ultimaker 3 just by its lonesome. Yeah, check guys, of course there are other printers that are cheaper, obviously. But yeah, Ultimaker is, well, let's see if the Ultimaker can deliver on that. But what I think what makes Ultimaker special is that they have the ecosystem, they have the reputation. So, you know, not only the Wi-Fi integration with Cura, we're going to try that out, obviously, but also just the platform that just works. That's, at least that's something I'm expecting from this machine. Right, accessories. Small little accessories box. So a quick start guide, we're definitely going to be following that. How to calibrate the XY offset, okay. So I guess we'll have to do that as well. We're getting the print bed with a caution hot sticker. We're going to install that in a second. What else? This one's stuck. 2 print cores. So we've got the AA and the BB core. This is actually not a BB8, this is a BB.4. So these 2 cores essentially are your hot ends, more or less. The AA core is for anything that is a build material, and the BB core is for PVA, essentially, at the moment. They do look pretty much identical from the outside, but as far as I know, there's a bit of a difference when it comes to the internal geometry of these 2 hot ends. And of course, they are quick swappable. They have the little PCB on the back that just connects the heater, the sensor, and well, there's 2 more pins. Interesting. Whatever else is on there. Ultimaker calibration card, so the usual nozzle adjustment. What do we got? So we've got Ethernet, of course, an Ethernet cord. Let's see, so I did look up how to connect this thing to the internet, or to at least to the local network. And supposedly it creates a Wi-Fi access point that you then have to connect your computer to. Obviously, I can't connect my laptop to this Wi-Fi access point because that would crash the stream. But let's see, maybe we can just connect it through Ethernet, or I've also prepared a tablet. Maybe we can do the initial setup through that. All right, spool holder, 2 parts. So these are the injection molded ones. Apparently the first Ultimaker 3s came with 3D printed ones that were actually printed on Ultimaker 3s. We've got a bit of lube, we've got glue stick, we've got a 16 gigabyte USB thumb drive, supposedly with a fresh version of Cura. We've got more lube, we've got a cover of some sorts. I think that is, oh, we'll have to see where that goes. A small hex driver and a power supply. How's the electrical connection on the hot end? So we're going to take a close look at that in a second. But essentially it's pogo pins or spring-loaded pins that connect to this PCB that is on the back of the print core. Holy crap, that's a massive power supply. Look at that. That is, how much is that? 221 watts, meanwhile. I mean, power brick is I guess the right word for that. Okay, so let's just try and follow the quick start guide while I move stuff over to this side. It covers the NFC cable. Okay, that's what I thought. Where does this plug in? Somewhere in the back. We'll figure that out. So, quick start guide. Download the Ultimaker app. Okay, well, we did the unboxing already. So let's just do it the official way, because I'm not too stoked about having to get into a quick Wi-Fi network and stuff. Let's just see what the official Ultimaker way is. So install the Ultimaker app. So let's check that out real quick. Apparently the way of creating a Wi-Fi hotspot and doing all that sort of stuff isn't recommended anymore, or at least not the prime way of setting up an Ultimaker 3 at this point. Install. There we go. Adapter not even built in. No, the Ultimakers have never had their power supplies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the original might have had the power supply built in. But like the Ultimaker 2 also didn't have it built in. It has the same, I want to say it's the same connector, but it's definitely a very similar connector. Is this the locking type? Yes, this is still the locking type. So let's just show that real quick. So Ultimaker, starting from the Ultimaker 2, and I don't know about the Ultimaker 1. I'd have to look at my own review actually. They have this locking type connector that really holds in there well. It's not the standard DIN type connector that you see on other machines that you can just pull out, which we've had happen on live streams. But it is a connector that actually locks in place properly. So let's do a quick walk around the machine. So the front obviously looks extremely similar to what the Ultimaker 2 looks like. Might actually be slightly out of focus, I'm sorry about that. Left side, nothing. Back side, obviously we have, let's just fix it 1 second. There we go, that's better. So on the back, obviously we have 2 extruders. We have 2 of the new style. I believe these are the same ones as you get on the Ultimaker and the Ultimaker 2 Plus. 2 of the new style extruders, 1 and 2. That's where the spool holder goes. Right side, nothing, and that's it. So as usual, a very clean machine, as expected from Ultimaker. And let's just check back here. So on-off switch, as usual, that goes directly to the main board, which sits in that area. Power input spool holder, power LAN, Ethernet input or Ethernet connection, and on the bottom there's the NFC supposedly. NFC cable routed down here, and then, well, we have to see where that plugs in. But there's a small cutout that, small cutout to route that cable. So let's see if, okay, that's just a plastic part, no worries. Let's see how we're on the app. Okay, you might not see that much from the screen here. Select your Ultimaker, Ultimaker 3. Get started. Start unpacking, we did that. Home screen, accessory, take out the... So this obviously is optimized for a phone, so we're only getting the portrait mode and just very little content on each side, but that's okay. So remove the packaging under the build plate. Let's see, there doesn't seem to be anything under the plate here. Nope. cut the zip tie that connects or that secures the printhead. That's the zip tie right up here. And yeah, while we cut that, let's actually get into the shipping damage on this machine. So if you've ever used an Ultimaker 2, you'll know about these blocks on the side here, these little, well, let's, can I show this somehow? I don't know. But there's these little blocks there. There you go, we should be able to tilt this thing up. These little blocks that hold the cross bars in place. And on this machine, they simply snapped out of the, these bars snapped out of the holders. We can very simply fix that. They just pop right back in and we should be back in business in no time. Obviously, if you're a user that simply expects the machine to function right out of the box, that's gonna be something that you might not expect, and that's gonna be something that might throw you off. But in this case, easy to fix. There we go, clicked in, and now this should be running quite smoothly. At least it should. Let's just check that again. So when I did check this machine, so this, yeah, this works well. This one also runs well. So it just feels like the stepper motors are breaking the head at this point. Okay. Cut the zip tie that secures the printhead, done that. This is in the box, so all this stuff obviously. Placing and connecting the NFC spool holder. Gently place the printer on its left side. So I suppose that's its left side. Let's try to be as gentle as possible. Then insert the spool holder into the back panel. There we go. First place the top part in the hole and push down until it snaps in place. 1, 1, 1, and push down until it snaps in place. Okay, that shouldn't be too difficult. There we go. Push down until it snaps in place. I guess we do have to keep this NFC cable out of the way. There's a little divot there. There we go, okay. So we did that. NFC cable. Connect the NFC cable to the NFC socket. The flat side of the connector faces away from the bottom panel, then guide the NFC cable through the slot in the back panel. Okay, so that's, there we go. There is the NFC connector, actually labeled NFC. And this one goes in like that. Perfect, then guide the cable through the little slot. And we're done. Okay, that's easy enough. The exposed stepper on the bottom looks like a seriously risky place. I don't know, it's just the Z-axis motor. It's always been there, always worked in that position. Next step, cable cover. Okay, so that's this little piece right here. That snaps in the other way around. So, okay, so I guess we have to push this one a bit further in. There we go. That just clips on. Okay, that looks clean. Then gently place the Ultimaker back upright again. So the nice thing is it has these the usual screws on the side that hold the panels on. So when you lay it down flat on its side, it doesn't actually slide on the acrylic. It actually slides on the screws right there. Build plate clamps. Open the two build plate clamps at the front of the build plate. So we already have those two open. Gently slide the glass onto the build plate and ensure that it snaps in place. Okay. NFC is out. I'll check that again. So there is our build plate, and the rear clips are fixed and the front ones just swivel closed. Okay, fits well. So somebody was saying that the NFC cable is out. It's not, it's properly in there, so. Right, connecting the power supply. Yep, so we need the power cord and the supply itself. Out of its cutout? Okay, well, that totally doesn't matter. Right, yeah, people are asking about the filament choices you have with the Ultimaker 3. So that's actually something I sort of like about the Ultimaker 3. So it does use, so other way around, it does use Ultimaker's own filament with the NFC tags inside. So these two actually have the little logo on its side. We can see NFC, right there, let's get it out of the reflection. NFC, do not remove. So there is an NFC tag in this general area in here. And as you place the filament onto the spool holder, there's a pair of NFC, or I don't know, single one maybe. There's an NFC reader in the actual spool holder. That's what we connected the cable for just a second ago, which reads and detects which filament you've installed. And supposedly, all this does is it tells Cura, and it obviously tells the printer itself, but it also tells Cura, as you're slicing things, what filament you have installed, and it should auto-select the right filament. You can still use other manufacturers or other brands of filament. It just doesn't, obviously it doesn't have that automatic filament selection with other brands as you get with the original one. So purely a comfort feature and not a, okay, this, yeah, that's in there good enough. Purely a comfort feature and not a DRM lock-in feature that makes sure you're only using the original filament. You can still use any other filament as long as it works with the Ultimaker's extruder and Bowden setup, obviously. Okay, plugged in the power supply. Let's see what the app tells me. Next up, you can lock it into place, so that's locked in. Print cores. Okay, I guess we should turn it on at this point. Let's see if we get smoke. We get a fan and a relay, okay. Somebody's wondering how reliable the NFC is. I'd guess it's pretty much dead on. But yeah, we'll have to try that out, obviously, and I will be reviewing that part in great detail. Ah, look, I found a I found an AA print core. That's interesting. This is just magnetic. Yeah, there's a pair of magnets in here. Cool. So obviously, since the Ultimaker 3 has a little mini computer more or less built in, it does take a while to boot up. It's not as instantaneous as with other simpler AVR-based or only AVR-based systems where you click it on and it's instantly there. No, it's booting up a whole Linux system in here. It still has that duality. It has a Linux computer that runs the entire network functionality and the print host functionality. And then it has that AVR, essentially an Arduino core that runs the real-time mechanics and heating and stuff. So you could, in theory, take out that Linux system and just connect with USB. The Ultimaker 3 does not have a USB port that you can connect to with something like Prontoface. It's Wi-Fi and network only, and yeah, no SD card actually. Let's just point it out again. No SD card slot in the front, but a USB socket, which is, I guess, where the 16 gigabyte thumb drive comes in. Okay, I have to remove it. Okay, so people are saying yes, the print speed was decreased. Yes, as soon as you add a second extruder, you do lose a whole lot of print speed because you have the switching process from one extruder to the other, and that takes time. As far as I know, it shouldn't print any slower if you only use one extruder. That's the entire equation there. As long as you only use the one material, it's going to print practically identical to an Ultimaker 2, as far as I know. 8-bit AVR, it still runs Marlin, as far as I know, stock Marlin, and as far as I'm informed, Ultimaker is still contributing to the official Marlin firmware. Okay, let's get the okay. So obviously it's still the same OLED display in front here, which still flickers like crazy on camera. It doesn't flicker at all in what I'm seeing here, but since the shutter speed on the camera is quite low, it does flicker a bit. Let's get the aperture down, and now we should be a bit more flicker free. There we go. Still a bit dark, but whatever. Welcome. In just a few steps, we will help you set up your new Ultimaker. Let us start by inserting the print cores. Continue. Carefully open the print head fan bracket. That's this guy. So you guys should see what's going on here. There we go, that's better. It lags from time to time. Sorry if the stream is cutting out. As far as I can tell, the stream is fine on my side. It's like the usual thing with live streams. Carefully open the print head fan bracket. We did that, okay. AA.4 print core detected in print head slot 1. Yes, and we're actually going to keep it in there. For the first one, we will use the print core 2 for PVA material. Yes. Place print core BB04 in the print head slot 2. You should hear a click. Let's try that. So this one just slots in here. Where can I press? I guess everywhere. Okay, so it's got the tab up here. And there we go. That should be properly registered. Detected in print head slot 2. Okay, carefully close the print head cover bracket, print head fan bracket. The next step is to load the printer with materials. It's weird that people are saying the stream is cutting out. YouTube is telling me it's fine, so I don't know what's going on there. Anyways, the next step is to load materials. Okay, remove. Okay, that's done. So does it have a material detection? I actually don't know. But we will start with the material for print core 2. Okay, so that's the PVA. Let's see, so I'm just following what the printer is telling me at this point. Place the new spool on the spool holder. Okay, let's do that. So material 2 is the BB core, that's this one over here. And that actually makes sense because the labeling on the back here is actually 2 is the one that's closer to the printer and 1 is the one that's further out. So we do have to place spool number 2 on the spool holder first. Now what's going to be interesting over the next few days is how well the PVA actually keeps up in open air. Funnily enough, I just published a video on how to make or how to build a simple dry box where you can store your filaments out in the, or not out in the open, keep them dry, because especially PVA and nylon are These were fresh batteries. I don't know how they only lasted like 30 minutes? That's crazy. Yeah, okay, so sorry about that dropout. I can slowly see the filament feeding in here. Let's see, so it's grabbed on well, and I can actually confirm this. That sounds awesome. That sounds absolutely awesome. Just the slow acceleration ramping the filament. Okay, it's in. And there is actually, there is black material coming out of the second feeder. That's interesting. There is some black stuff right here. Let's wait until this comes out. Click confirm when new material extrudes from print core 2. Yeah, battery's empty. I'm sorry about that. I did put new batteries in, but it seems like those were actually dead already. Okay, still not getting fresh material. It's huh? Come on. So it is feeding, but we're not getting any material out the nozzle. So it might just be that it needs a few centimeters until the new material comes out. Actually, this one is rocking back and forth a bit. Nothing underneath. Okay, looks like the frame was actually a bit twisted. Interesting. So now it's still. So I'm getting some sort of black material. It smells like PLA. And now we're clear. Now we'll insert the material for print core 1. Take the material spool and place it onto the material guide, okay? Let's just do that again. I mean, so far we're doing pretty good. I mean, the guidance that the printer is giving me, the guidance that I'm sorry if that blew someone's speaker. The guidance that the app is giving so far is pretty good. It's pretty good, I'd say. It's interesting that the quick start guide that you're getting in the printed version here differs from the one that you're getting online. If you go to ultimaker.com and look up okay, so this is double sealed, interesting. If you go to ultimaker.com and actually look at the official guide, you'll see that the official guide says, okay, the Ultimaker is going to create a Wi-Fi hotspot and you can connect to that. And obviously we're not doing that at the moment. Put silica into the storage boxes to keep the filament dry. Okay. Into the storage boxes, yes. Whatever storage boxes I can kind of come up with. Continue. Okay, so I guess it wants me to actually place it on here. It did already release the end, which I shouldn't have done, but no material detected, and there it is. So that seems to take a second until it actually detects the new material, but now it's detected, and it did detect the PLA on its own, no help. Okay, yeah, there we go. Still works, still has the quick release lever on the side, so you can just push and pull it. I forgot the media guide. Yeah, right, so that's in there. You need to put the other part of the spool holder. Yeah, so where did I put that? Over here. This part. Okay, so I get... Interesting, the instructions actually did skip that. This apparently... Which way does this go on? Does this go on the bottom? I don't know. Yeah, The manual actually didn't mention this part, it just mentioned the main spool holder, and that's what I'm running with right now. So it looks like it's got a little filament guide down here that you can use to guide the filament number 1. Yeah, it's a bit crooked on here, but it should still work. I don't want to pull it back out. Right. So we've inserted that. Okay, yeah, no, the rear spool is a bit crooked, but whatever. It is crucial to use the second part of the spool hole because the filament really tends to tangle if you don't use it. Okay, so how do I put it on? Let's see, does the quick start guide say anything about that? Nope. Ah! Print guide and material loaded. Okay, so that just clips on the back like that. You actually clip that over the spool. Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna unload that in a second and got the filament through here. Put the second filament spool. Yep. Okay. And still no material coming out, but that should just be a second, hopefully. It's weird that it actually takes that long. It should have been a bit faster, but well, it's just feeding really slowly right now. Yeah, I do have to do that before I mount the second spool. Yeah, so I did get the second part of the spool holder on here. Obviously, the filament is not fed through it. I'll have to unload that and reload it in a second. Right. Click to confirm when new materials extrudes from print core. Yes, done that. Wait a moment for print core 1 to cool down. So, I don't know if you should be able to see that. So these two guys up here have LEDs in the tab that you use to unlock them. So these are both orange right now, which I guess means they're hot, which is sort of, useful. Typically you don't mess around with the nozzles anyways, but yeah. Sweet. But at least that's an indicator of whether stuff is hot or not. And actually at this point it did wait a second before pulling the material out, which is sort of smart, because at that point you get less ooze and less uncontrolled material extrusion while it's cooling down. Okay. Joel is here as well. Hey Joel. Waiting. Okay, the progress bar is going backwards. Okay, that's interesting. Is it to cool down? So I guess it's just cooling at this point. Ah, look at that. It's so shiny. Are we cooling? We're waiting? Okay. Let's see what the app says while that's doing something. Okay. Now the app. Okay. It's interesting. Now the app actually tells you, so if you follow the app instead of what the printer tells you, now the app is telling you, okay, you should maybe put on the material guide. That's cool, but okay. We now connect to a Wi-Fi network. Skip to use a LAN cable or a USB drive. I Chat, let me know. So I do have the option of, if my LAN cables are long enough, I do have the option of just connecting through a LAN cable. That's bulletproof. That's just going to work. Or we can try to set up the Wi-Fi through the tablet if that's what you guys want to see. Let me know in chat, Wi-Fi or Ethernet, and I'm just going to follow along accordingly. Probably can't unload this manually right now, can I? Nah, okay, no way, no way. Yeah, so the guide here was definitely required. Wi-Fi, LAN. Okay, so looks like it's like a 2/3 Wi-Fi, 1/3 LAN. So let's do Wi-Fi. Let's try Wi-Fi. Let's see if it works on the tablet. Because Wi-Fi, I mean, it's a nice feature, and I think it's one of the core features of the Ultimaker. So let's hit continue. Printer is creating a Wi-Fi hotspot. This can take a minute. So actually, I don't know what I'm going to do with this AA core. Let's just keep it over here. By the way, everyone who's getting, who's raging at Nightbot. Nightbot is not a person. Nightbot is an actual bot. Nightbot is an actual automated spam control bot. So if you're getting timed out by him, yeah, that's just. I'm sorry, but better be safe than sorry. YouTube tends to have a lot. YouTube tends to have a lot of spam, so yeah, better safe than sorry. Wi-Fi hotspot created. Use a computer or a smartphone to connect to this printer. So this is not exactly a smartphone, but let's just let's say it is. How do I use this thing? Wi-Fi. I have no idea how much you can actually see on that webcam. UM000AEB. That sounds like Ultimaker Wi-Fi connected. And then supposedly I just open up a website. Let's see, Google, if that actually forwards me. Or Ultimaker.com, I believe that was. Nope. Let's check the quick start guide. Doesn't say anything. Continue, select yes, and open a browser. Did that. Checking for, well, you're not connected to anything. All right, let's check the app. Ultimaker.com. So I'm supposed to connect to Ultimaker.com. Well, maybe not HTTPS. Maybe try the regular. Okay, it's doing HTTPS automatically. Interesting. Ah, it disconnected. Okay, okay. Could not retrieve. Yes, of course, because it disconnected. Not in range. Okay, so now the Ultimaker, because I clicked OK, because I was like, okay, I connected to the. I'm now connected to the Ultimaker with my tablet. It automatically shut that Wi-Fi network down and tried to check for firmware updates. Okay, setup finished. Print via Cura or USB drive. Well, we don't have a network connection, so I don't think we can actually call this setup finished. So I guess for now let's just use the Ethernet, because the Wi-Fi setup obviously didn't work. It tried to do too much, or it tried to connect to the internet too quickly, but we always have the fallback option. And yeah, printer manufacturers, listen up. So whenever you have a Wi-Fi connected machine, please do provide that fallback of just using a wire connection, because not everyone wants to have that many devices in their Wi-Fi networks, or can't for company policy or security or whatever other reasons, you know, wired network, or it doesn't even have Wi-Fi reception wherever the printer is going to be situated. So in this case, I did put up an extra access point just for cases like these that I can use to connect machines like these. But typically print caves and such might not have the best Wi-Fi coverage out there and might not be sufficient for printing. Okay, that's plugged in. Let's see. So yeah, let's see if we can check the firmware update again, or have the machine check, because it should. Network connection status. Okay, so it is connected to the wired network, which is great. On Wi-Fi canal. So do I get a maintenance probably? Update firmware. Ah, that's cool. You can actually choose between the stable version or a beta version. I generally don't like beta stuff too much because it just means extra headache. So let's say downloading new firmware. Let's do that process real quick. And yeah. Right, so people are asking about the machine in general again. So while that firmware update is running, hoping the stream doesn't drop out, it shouldn't. The internet connection should be pretty massive, but yeah, it's downloading a new firmware, and that's, I guess, one of the nice things of having the built-in Linux system in here. It can update and run the built-in smaller AVR core, but it can also update itself. So whenever new software features or bug fixes or stuff comes out, as long as it's connected to the internet, it should update itself and keep itself up to date. Right, while that is, I'm still sort of uncomfortable by how much this thing is rocking around. I think I'm just going to shim that in a second. Why Saturday instead of Sunday? Because why not? People were actually asking about Saturday. But yeah, the machine itself, the Ultimaker 3 dual extrusion, big new feature over the Ultimaker 2. Okay. Well, that belt looks a bit loose. We're going to see that in a second. Yeah, big change from the Ultimaker 2 to the Ultimaker 3, or the Ultimaker 2 plus to the Ultimaker 3 is the dual extrusion, obviously. It's also a bit more expensive. It's 3,500 money units, that's dollars or euros, roundabout. Sales tax and stuff might add or deduct from that, depending on where you are. Yeah, 3mm filament, NFC in the back, not proprietary, not chipped, or 2.85, yes. It does auto detect the filament. It doesn't lock you into the own brand. Obviously, Wi-Fi network connectivity, good integration into the new Cura 2.x. So we're currently on Cura 2.3.1, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, nice evolution so far. Let's see how much this firmware update is going on. Yeah, while that is downloading new firmware, let me see your suggestions of what we should. Nightboat is on a roll. Let me hear your suggestions on what should be the first print with this machine. We are going to do a one print, considering that it's dual material, is going to take a bit. So let me see such how can you guys post links? Thingiverse, thing IDs, that can work, or obviously Umagine thing names, just the umagine.com/ whatever the thing is called. Unfortunately, links don't come through. So let me hear your suggestions in chat, and we're going to decide one once this firmware. We're going to decide on one once that firmware is updated, and preferably stuff with an actual need for support material. Because if you're not using the dual material capability of the machine, then why even use the Ultimaker 3? We could be using any other printer just as well. It looks slightly tilted. Mr. Me sakes. Upside down frog. That would be interesting actually. Would be a lot of support material, but yeah, the tree frog. Okay, that's the penny ballista. Yeah, so fix the spool before you print. Yeah, I'm just waiting on the firmware update. Assembled gears. That's a good idea. Upside down benchy might actually be too long to print. I don't know how long the print times are going to be. We're just going to try and slice a few things in the new Cura and see how long the estimates are. I don't want to start a 5-hour print because I'm not going to be talking for 5 hours tonight. Yeah, and especially something like the Ultimaker gyro gear, that spinny thing that's about this large. I think that's like a 12-hour print at least. So not today. Maybe something that's printing within an hour, ideally. Quick print, an hour. If nothing else, I'm just going to scale down a tree frog, flip it on its head, and print that. Oh, 48 hours for the gyro. Okay, not going to be printing that, definitely. Filament bits. Cube standing on a corner. The thing with the cube standing on its corner, so like that, that's actually relatively easy to print. Yeah, guys, something that uses support material. I don't want to unbox and print something with the Ultimaker 3 if I'm not using the dual extrusion capabilities. People are asking about the pop-up from the bottom that I've got going on. Has actually just rendered out as a 30-minute video on loop and then a green screen or a color key on it. So pretty simple. Trump head with orange hair. So yeah, I heard a click. Okay, it's rebooting. So obviously you cannot only print with a PLA, a build material, and a PVA as a support material. This stuff is water soluble, so you can take your print, you dump it into a bucket of water, and it's, this material dissolves and the PLA doesn't, at least it shouldn't, and then you're left with whatever geometry you want, just without the support material. And you don't have to worry about, peeling off PLA support materials by hand or designing for the 3D printer specifically. You just print whatever you want, essentially. The low poly fox, that's a good idea. Yeah, the plumbus actually does take quite a bit of support material. Every single part of these is printed with support material in one way or another. Actually, this top part here might be a good test. We'll see. If nothing else, the low poly fox people are suggesting is actually a good idea because I do like that model. How high can the print core go? How hot can the print core go? That's a question in chat, which I actually can't answer. But we have experts from iGo3D in the chat. If they can answer it, yeah, there you go. Martin answered that already. So 280 degrees is the AA print core as far as I know. The BB is a separate one for PVA that might have a different temperature limit. So let's get the material guide installed. That is material 1, which is gonna unload that. I still remember how Joe Prusha was screaming at me, "Hey, use the firmware's unload features." So obviously I'm going to use the firmware's unload features from now on for every printer. $571,949. Let's check that one. Yeah, it sort of sucks that I can't allow links in chat, but you know, YouTube, it's just going to get out of hand. So the lattice cube by Maker's Muse, that's just that's really not a hard print that would require support material. Bird cage with a new twist. So the link that Tim just posted, that looks okay. Do you hear that? I mean, I think it's still a pretty awesome sound. Come on, unload. Just barely. Okay, so now we have a plug in there. Let's see if that is actually going to cause any issues. Oh, the least I can do is cut this off clean. So theoretically, it should still detect that there is a PLA material loaded. Remove the no, I'm not going to do that. I do what I want. I'm not going to remove the material from the spool holder. Come on, let me load something new. Load. And theoretically, with the loading procedure right now, it should detect there's a no material detected. Come on, PLA material detected. Okay, that's pulling in. So I did install the media guide right there, and essentially the second material just feeds through this point, so it pulls off the spool straight and doesn't like tangle to the side. All right. Confirm, did that, loading. Auto leveling, yes, the Ultimaker 3 does not have any sort of auto leveling. Does it? Wait, does it? The manuals actually don't say to manually level, so it does still have the adjustment screws in the corners of the bed. Friends from iGo 3D, help me out here. It has auto leveling. Okay, which is, I don't know. I do sort of find that curious. It does have auto leveling, supposedly. Simone Fontana just helped me out there. It does have auto leveling, but it still has the adjustment screws on the sides, so, or all around the bed. So you could still manually level the bed if that's your thing, but it also does level itself. Cool. Let's see, the Christmas deer someone posted, I think that might be a bit too fine detail-wise if you scale it down. The 3D Benchy doesn't require support material. That's, I mean, again. Oh, whoops, we do have stuff coming out. Probably should use tweezers or something like that, but yeah. Do as I say, don't do as I do, as usual. Low poly fox. The Fennec fox. I think that might actually be a nice first print. Yeah, let's just try that. why does the Ultimaker 3 still, or yeah, why does the Ultimaker 3 still use 3mm or 2.85mm filament? That is a good question. For the most part, I mean, I personally, I don't care about technical details. I care about whether something works or not. Sure, the market is shifting towards 1.75mm filament, definitely, but 2.85 is still a thing. Most manufacturers still offer 2.85mm filament, which, I mean, it's gonna stay for as long as, you know, machines still use it. I think the Sigma still uses 3mm or the 2.85mm filament, and as long as it works, I guess Ultimaker is showing that it can still work. Why not? Why not? Okay, I think we're gonna print the Fennec Fox. I think that's gonna be a nice first print, and that thing really does. Yeah, Lulzbot too. Lulzbot still uses 3mm, so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. As long as it works, why not? Power supply material guide, got that. Okay. 3mm is better for Bowden. I don't think so, but I've not done any testing with that, so yeah. System requirements, installation. Okay, let's just follow the guide to get Cura going and to get Cura connected to the Ultimaker itself. So I do already have Cura installed, and that's it. So it's essentially telling me if you already have Cura installed, if you have the Ultimaker connected to the network, then yeah, you should be ready to go. So let's actually try that. Screen caps, there's chat and Cura 2.3.1. Yeah, also the 2.85mm filament is better for flexibles. That's hands down true. Cura, load! Come on, work with me here. Yeah, 2.2mm filament. I don't know. I'm kind of curious if there's going to be something that succeeds 1.75mm filament as far as like a smaller filament diameter goes. So something like a 1mm. Cool. Don't have that set up. Like a 1mm. 1mm filament that is better for the super small nozzles that we're seeing. Something like, there we go. Something like the 0.15mm nozzles. That should be great for getting more control out of your hot end. Cool, that works. So yeah. Cura 2.3.1, I did have that installed. I do have a few other printers configured. And when I tried this out before actually having the Ultimaker 3 set up, it just loaded up the profile. It showed me all the settings of the Ultimaker 3, but it didn't show me that window, that connect to network printer. So I'm guessing at this point, it did automatically check for network connected printers and tell me, hey, I found something. Let's connect to this one. Would you like to update your current printer configuration into Cura? The print cores and or materials on your printer were changed. For the best results, always slice for the print cores and materials that are inserted into your printer. Yes, that makes sense. So PLA print core 1, PLA print core 2, that should update in a second, I'm hoping. Okay, so access to printer request. So please approve the request on the printer. Okay, so I actually have to Tom Cura, yes. Okay. So now we're getting, access to printer accepted. We're getting silver metallic PLA loaded, that is correct, with the Print Core 1 and natural PVA with the Print Core 2. Sweet. Printer monitor, yes, it does have the webcam, so there is a webcam in here that is not really real time, but it gives a sort of a, yeah, it gives you an update on how well the print is doing. Plus, some statistics on print time, estimated time left if you have a print going, and the temperatures of your hot ends, or print cores, as they are called. Right. Let's grab the Fox. I think I've downloaded that one before, but plate. I'm not going to do the plated one. I'm going to do the real version. Fennec Fox. Okay, so we've got the Fennec Fox model. So Cura is showing the overhang view right here. And let's see what it does by default, if it actually uses support material or not. I think that one might be turned off. Support, okay, so support material is turned off. That's a 4-hour print. Holy cow. So obviously we will need to scale this one down. Thankfully, Cura, I mean, Slick3R is a bit behind in that regard, just letting you scale, rotate stuff. I do really like the Cura, I really do like Cura for just that feature, for being able to quickly scale, rotate, and adapt your parts. And it actually looks like it's previewing in the actual color of the filament loaded, because this thing is usually yellow if you don't have an Ultimaker 3 configured. So yeah, no support material. Let's just check 28 minutes without support material, 0.1 millimeter normal quality, which is insane already. Let's bump that up to fast print. 19 minutes, okay, enable support. We're not going to be using the Print Core 1 with the PLA. We're going to be using the PVA. Obviously, that's what you need. 1 hour 36. So that increased threefold in printing time. Where's our? There we go. There it is. Okay, and we can see why. There is a lot of support material going on. Oh well, that really is a lot. All right. So we're at 14 by 35 by 23 millimeters. That's 3 grams of each material, and we're taking 1.5 hours. Oh, let's just try it. Let's just try that. So let me check on chat if someone's rating there. Actually, let's see how much the draft print quality. Yes, so the only thing I did was enable support. That's 1 hour 13, so that's not changing much. So I think I'm just going to stay with 0.15. Okay, let's see how well this works. Print over network. So we're getting the webcam right away. Getting the Ultimaker started. And I mean, that was basically instantaneous. So what I'm hoping here is that, let's see, heated. What I'm hoping here is that the G code that, defines your entire print, that's actually getting transferred onto the Ultimaker. I hope so, because it would mean that you can print without a network connection or with a dropping Wi-Fi or internet connection. Don't think I want to try that out right now, but yeah. The density is at 100. Yes, the density is at 100, but only the interface where it connects to the actual part. So typically how Cura, actually I can show you. The way that, okay, that Z-axis is pretty noisy. The way that Ultimaker, the way that Cura handles support material, which I actually really like, is right there. You can see that's not 100% infill. That is like 15, maybe 10, 15%. And then where it meets the actual part, let's see if you can find it. Yeah, right there, where it supports the throat of this little fennec fox. It goes to 100% density interface, which is easier to peel off if you want to peel it off, and also supports the part better, and doesn't really, allow for any dropped perimeters, if that makes sense. So it's doing something. I guess that's that's pretty far away. Yeah, but it does look like it's doing the auto leveling process right now. Ultimaker 3 uses a potato as a webcam from Dirty Engineering chat. So yeah, let's check on that. So obviously it is a bit of a stark difference. That's a 4K camera connected via a capture card, and we've got like many bits per second going through that. And this is obviously just a very simple webcam situated in the corner of, oh, there we go. So that webcam is situated right here, right where my finger is behind that thing. So if I get my finger over that, we see that it's just up top, and when the bed is actually all the way up, it just barely catches the entire build surface, and as it moves down, you still see the one layer you're printing. Let's see, it didn't actually tell me anything about applying glue stick or anything, but typically clean glass should work well. I'll just try that out. Yeah, so people are saying camera will be improved with the new Curas. Why such a large brim? I don't know. So chat, quickly, before this thing heats up, I guess it's heating up right now. Should we apply some glue stick or not? Let me know. By the way, the guys saying, yeah, 1080p 60 webcam costs 20 bucks, but a 1080p 60 webcam costs 20 bucks. No, it does not. A 1080p 60 webcam actually costs more than 100, because the 1080p 60 webcams you can buy are 1080p and they are 60 frames, but they are not 1080p 60. They either do 1080p at like 4 frames per second or 60 frames at like potato quality. So maybe a bit of a moot point. No glue stick, no glue stick, no glue stick. Okay. So let's move this thing out. Never happened. Didn't get it. So people are saying clean the bed. How hot is the bed going into the print? It doesn't have a temperature display on the front, but we should, hold on, Cura's over here. We should be able to tell right here, print cores are at 54 and the build plate is at 60 right now. So I guess right now it's waiting on the build plate to heat up. And we can sort of hear the fan in front of the two print cores spinning up, and it's sucking air through and cooling that top of the, why do they insist on calling print core? It's a hot end, come on. And cooling the top of the, I don't know if it's a, yeah, this one is an all metal hot end, that's cool. Yeah, it's definitely the cooling that heatsink right there. Okay, so temperatures are rising. We're seeing 142 on print core 1, so that's PLA. And print core 2 is still a bit cooler, and I think it's actually, yeah, it's keeping it at around 100 degrees for standby. So what it is doing apparently is when the when one of the two print cores isn't used, it actually switches it over to a lower standby temperature, so you reduce oozing. But of course the Ultimaker 2 also has a little bracket back here, you should be able to see that, yeah, and which is impossible to show on camera, great, and a lever on the side of the print head right there, and that actually just slides over this bracket on the side here, and depending on how it slides over there, it tilts one of the print cores up and lowers, or gets one of them raised and lowers the other. So it's a mechanical correction. One print core is fixed and the other one gets lowered or raised, and so it gets lowered below the other one or raised above the other one, so that you always have only one at the lowest level in printing, and the other one is always out of the way. And we're going to see that in a second as it switches over from PLA to PVA. So right now it's laying down the first layer of PLA, which doesn't look good, which does look pretty much spot on. Let's see, I mean, that's not giving you much information about how the print is doing. This isn't giving you much information. I think I'm going to move the camera in a second. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so as far as printer loudness or printer noise goes, it's interesting because what I've heard a second ago is the Z-axis motor is actually pretty noisy when it's moving fast up and down, and it sounds like the extruders that you're hearing now with the retracts going on are a bit noisy as well. But X and Y sound like really muffled. They sound like there's a, I don't know, it's not that crisp stepper sound that you get from other printers. It's more of a muffled noise, plus of course the fan on the print cores. I keep wanting to say hot ends, but they're print cores. The fan on the print cores obviously is one of the noisier parts, but it's not bad. It's really not bad. Yeah, and as far as the holy crap, Nightbot is on it. It really is on the rain page. Obviously, you do have different print cores. Those are planned right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. This might have changed, but my info is the print cores you can get are the AA.4 and the BB.4, and other sizes and other materials are planned right now. Actually, let's open up the second package while this is printing. We're going to get a good look at how, that's the priming tower, okay, how everything is switching over in a second. Let's open up the second package because the AA core, this one, also works for a bunch of other official Ultimaker materials. So yeah, Ultimaker has introduced a bunch of new materials with the Ultimaker 3 launch, because they want to be that one full service company that offers, of course, the machine itself, that offers the software, which is Cura, which people are saying, Cura is I'd rather use Simplify 3D, yeah. But Cura is actually pretty good. If you've used the 2.3.1, it's a pretty good slicer. And now, of course, they're also offering their own materials in a variety of colors, variety of material choices. Just having that one platform. If you buy the Ultimaker, if you buy our material, if you buy our software, we guarantee that this thing is going to work. That's the message they're sending, and I feel a lot of people are willing to pay a premium for that guarantee. Right. It's doing something. Not saying what it's doing, but okay, it extruded a pair of little blobs up here. Cool. So material-wise, we got, what do you have here? We have CPE, which copolyester. I think that's their acronym for PET essentially, or copolyesters in general. We have ABS. I don't think the Ultimaker was offering ABS previously, but this is gray ABS. And we have some more PLA. So we have basically the three common materials. There is also a flexible material from Ultimaker as far as I know, and a nylon just for different applications. Prime Tower. No, the Prime Tower is back here. And the Trump Tower is in New York, but let's actually... okay. I shall move the second camera to give you guys a bit of a better view of what the machine is doing. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, of course, when I was saying people are going to pay a premium for having that ecosystem, for having that guarantee that everything is just going to work, you know, companies also employ people that make decisions. So I was implying that as well. So right, Ultimaker always offered ABS. Thanks for the update there. Okay, so what we are seeing here, let's just get into that. So these two blobs up here, just after the first layer apparently, it just extruded those and left them. I don't know. There's our main part. It's squished down pretty well into the build plate, and back here is the Prime Tower. So it's doing PLA on the outside and then PVA on the inside. So yeah. Yeah, of course there is a bunch of extra configuration. Joel and Simone are discussing like priming towers and software mods you can do in Cura. So yeah, obviously the Cura software comes with profiles that do try to take out, grab the wrong window, that do try to take out the most challenging bits of printing, do provide you with those pre-configured profiles, which I love, by the way. I think that's one of the most important things with 3D printers these days, just having those good profiles. And still, it doesn't mean it's taking anything away from you. These are just the default exposed settings right there. Of course, you could jump back to the recommended and just use the quick settings. Print hollow, print light, dense solid, use the brim, support material. That's the simple mode. I was in advanced, sorry. So this is like the default experience you're getting. You're getting the info, PLA and PVA is loaded. My main material is, AA with a silver metallic PLA. And of course here you could select different materials if you have something else loaded in your printer. There we go. or of course use the official Ultimaker materials and just select one of those, even if you, again, don't have those detected with the NFC's chip. And quick settings, use support material, and that's it. That's the simple mode, but of course you can dig in, go custom. You know, I think I might have enabled a few here, but you know, you get so many options with the new Cura. It's insane. I do like having a lot of options in my slices, but that's even a bit too much for me. But you don't have to. You don't have to dig in. You get the profiles that just work. So yeah, totally cool. Yeah, and again, for the people in chat asking, Ultimaker, the Ultimaker and any Ultimaker can work with any filament. There's no restrictions on what brands of filament you can use, on what types of filaments you can use, unless it's of course like carbon-filled stuff that's going to grind out your nozzles, your print core's nozzles. But you can still go in and configure your own profiles for any material you want. And yeah, you're not bound to specific material choices. You could pop in any other PET, PLA, ABS, anything else that is 2.85 millimeters and just print it. You're just not going to get that, that NFC detection. You pop the spool on, Cura knows about what filament you're using, the printer knows about. You're only getting that with the original filaments, though I have a feeling that there might be a few other manufacturers coming up that do offer Ultimaker specific NFC tag filament in the future. Yeah, why the NFC recognition with the spools? It's just one of those things that makes your life easier. I like things that are easier because it means people, you know, will have a better chance of getting good success with their machines on their first tries without needing that that specific knowledge about 3D printers, about materials, about how the software works. So essentially, instead of well, it's sort of two different things at the same time. It's one, it automatically sends that info on which filament is loaded to your slices, so you don't have to select it manually. But two, of course I'm going to try that out in detail, but I assume at this point that the machine is going to refuse printing if you have a different material loaded to what you sliced the part with. Maybe having a different color is not going to matter, but if you've loaded ABS, if the machine detects you've loaded ABS onto the spool holder and you've sliced with a PLA profile, it's just going to refuse to print. That's my assumption, and that's just a simple safety feature. So yeah. NFC and Internet Big Brother. Not really. I might actually, you know, that's something I would like to know from you guys in chat. I did look at what the, I already forgot its name, great. The Zeus, the all-in-one 3D copier printer thing, how much that machine transferred over the internet or requested from the internet and sent back and forth. Essentially, it was just, you know, it was looking up like the geographical address of my IP address and sort of sending that back and forth, checking for updates. Is that something you're interested as a user? Is that something I should include in a review more regularly or not? Let me know in chat. Ah, yes. Thanks, Joe. Have a nice. Wait, it's like noon. Okay. Bye, Joe. So, yeah, people are asking, hey, how open is the machine? So, yeah, Ultimaker has always been open source. Yeah, Ultimaker has always been open source. They've always published their machine design files as far as like just the physical machine, the printer, you know, the entire mechanics of it goes, but also the software, firmware, Cura is open source. They've always published everything, and I think I've checked already, and the Ultimaker 3 is already out there. It's, you know, the design files are already published, and I would be surprised if you know, if they wouldn't be publishing enough for other manufacturers to implement NFC spools as well. So yeah. Now, one of the cool things about Cura 2.3.1, which is, I think, actually a killer feature for dual extrusion. I think a lot more slices are going to start supporting it. But for me, it's like a huge deal and a huge cost deal is, let's switch over back here, which I could have, you know, I could have changed to that, but did not choose to. So when you're enabling support, by default, the entire support structure you're seeing down here, this mossy green color, that's all PVA. So anything you're seeing down here, yeah, so this blue teal sort of color, that's all printed with PVA. Now you could actually switch over to PLA for that and still leave the support interface at PVA, which means that the entire structure, the entire lattice below your part. Oh, okay, now that's looking completely different. Interesting. So, like this entire part, this entire bright blue part, where it doesn't touch the model, is actually printed from PLA, and now this part where it actually creates an interface for the actual printed part to rest on is printed from PVA. So, just as a cost-saving method, I guess you could just print the entire structure with PLA and then only the interface with PVA. So you still get that water solubility, is that a word? But save on using PVA. PVA is a bit more expensive than PLA and also doesn't print as nicely, obviously. So yeah, that might be the way many people will choose to use support material with the Ultimaker 3 or with any other printer that uses Cura 2 for dual extrusion and for support materials. Yeah, so as far as print quality goes, keep in mind we are not using the default 0.1 millimeter layer height. We've actually switched it up to 0.15. And that's of course a bit of a coarser setting than the defaults. I will be printing lots and lots of parts with this machine for the full review. This is just a quick first try, just to see how well it does. Läuft is asking, is there a print quality difference between this thing and the Prusa i3 Mark II? We'll see. I'll try that out. I still have my reference prints back here. That's not on the Mark II. So yeah, there's the print from the Mark II. And I've got my standard set of parts. I will print the same. I I keep mixing these up. This isn't, is this? No, this is Aralinda. This isn't Aria. Okay, the Aralinda Dragon, awesome design. I'll print this one on the Ultimaker 3, obviously with no support material, with just the default settings. I will try out the just the pure print quality. Oh yeah, that PVA isn't looking good, but we'll see. It should go on. I will be testing out the pure print quality with no supports. I will try out how well the support material works, and yeah, just running through its paces essentially. The thing on the far corner, yes, what it's printing right now, that is the prime tower. That is an optional feature enabled by default just to prime the hot ends before they print the other materials. Oh, there's actually a bunch of PVA stuck to the print core B. Did I do the XY calibration for the print cores? I did not. Can I do a print at 20 microns? Yes, of course I can. So for the people asking if I did the XY calibration, no, I did not. The software and the quick start guides and the app didn't tell me to, so I didn't do it. I mean, we are getting this this quick start sheet of, yeah, how to calibrate the XY offset. Nowhere in the process did it tell me to do so, so I'm not doing that. I sort of want to keep this print going because it hasn't completely failed at this point. But there is definitely a bit of a mess going on here at the print core B. Can the Ultimaker 3 do 20 microns? Yes, I suppose. Pretty much any printer can do 20 microns. Pretty much any printer can do any layer height. It just depends on how well you tune everything in. And I'm pretty sure that you can just set the Ultimaker 3 to 20 microns and it's going to print. So, yeah. Yeah, chat, let me know. Should we keep this print going? Should we stop it and retry? Run the XY calibration? Simple yes or no. Let me know. Simone is saying the calibration takes 15 to 20 minutes. Wow. I think that is quite a lot of mist. Let me grab some tweezers and just try and pick a bit of that stuff. What resolution am I printing at? So I am printing at 0.15 millimeter layer height. Okay, that's not connected. Did I do a plate level? No, I did not do a plate level because it's auto leveling. And the manual did not tell me to. Yeah, I'm sorry. The yes/no question was maybe a bit of a mess. I mean, it does have most of the stuff coming off right now. Yeah, I'll just keep it going for now. So, let's see, Ultimaker or Cura is saying print time overall 1 hour 37 minutes, estimated time left 1 hour and 12 minutes. Even though this is a bit of a mess, I mean, I'm gonna find out why this is making such a mess. Of course, like I said, more prints for the full review. Even though this is making quite a mess, it is still going strong. It is still holding on and printing, at least. Latte is saying it's not auto leveling. It is auto leveling. It did the auto leveling, and we might actually be able. Oh, let me check that. You should be able to see the z-axis slightly rotating. But I mean, the bed leveling is not the problem here. Yeah, so that ever so slightly moved. So the auto leveling is working. Yeah. So people are asking about the Ultimaker 3's kinematics. It's still the same kinematics as with the Ultimaker 2 or the Ultimaker 1 for that fact. It's actually a very similar mechanical setup to the Ultimaker 2. So you're getting the, I think these are 8mm rotating shafts on all 4 sides that provide a surface, a guide for the for these blocks that ride on them, and then you get these cross braces, 6mm. There's 6mm element, 6 UUs in there. Obviously 2 pieces because these cross beams don't rotate, but the ones on the sides rotate. So there is some sort of a sliding bearing in these blocks on the side, which is either going to be a polymer bearing or a which side are we looking at? Right in these blocks, there is a, nope, that's not the block. Well, there's a polymer bearing or a brass bearing that okay. That guides for rotating and linear motion. Okay. So that part didn't stick, obviously. Let's stop that print before we mess up more. So let's see, abort print, yes. Okay, that was interesting and sort of unexpected. Okay, now it looks like the what's it doing? So it looks like, where's our focus? Right there. Okay, so it looks like the first layer. The first layer was all PLA, and then it tried to print PVA on top of that. And while the first layer did sort of stick, it was at the right height, the PVA didn't really stick to the PLA right there. So, I mean, this does peel off, and you can see the little feetsies coming out. But really, the two materials just didn't stick together. Okay, right, I'm gonna do two things. I will clean the bed. I'm gonna grab some acetone maybe, wipe that down just to make sure there's no greases on there. And then we're gonna just do a simpler print. No support material. I'm gonna figure that out afterwards for the full review. And yeah. For now, let's just go with standard PLA and use that, because that's something that we know is going to work for the most part. That's acetone, that's acetone. Do not use glue for dual extrusion. Yeah, I'm not using glue for dual extrusion. Yeah, that might just be a thing of bed contamination. Print removed. Not yet. .3D lac, yes, I do have some 3D lac here, but I sort of don't want to use it on the clean glass yet. That's quite springy in the back. Guess that's where the auto leveling switch sits. So obviously right here, print removed, we're clear. Let's just try a simpler one. Let's try the frog. So, official question. Now, the manual I followed, which is a first, I rarely do that, but let's just say I did. I did follow the manual for the Ultimaker 3 boot up process. It didn't mention bed leveling. It didn't, the machine didn't mention bed leveling, the app didn't mention bed leveling, neither did the, let's just check that right here, neither did the quick start guide. The printer will guide you through. Yeah, okay, it didn't. Do I need to manually level the bed? I don't think I should. So, yeah, chat, let me know. Do I need to level the bed? Because people are saying I should. I don't think I should. So, Simone is saying it didn't level the bed, which is my understanding. So the bed is cleaned off. Tree frog. Let's just do a traditional Yeah, Martin, it can be leveled manually, but does it have to need does it have to be leveled manually? so chat can decide on whether or not the bed needs to be leveled. Yeah, I'm just not going to level it. It looked like it did it automatically, so I'm just not going to bother with it. And in this case, it wasn't about the print sticking to the bed. It was more about something coming loose. So no support material for this one. One hour, 2 minutes. Let's get this thing even faster. And actually, let's print this one on the recommended quick print. Do hollow, do... Yeah, print plate adhesion. Okay, sounds good. And just to make sure we're getting adhesion, let's do the full brim setting, which is like 15 or so traces around the print. 48 minutes, ready to print over network. So I'm guessing if I didn't actually reset the printer and tell it, okay, you're clear now, you're ready for your next print, it would probably not allow me to print the next part in Cura, so Okay, official answer from iGo3D from Martin is it definitely can't hurt to level it the first time completely and also do the auto calibration process. Yeah. Okay, I guess for the print after that we're just gonna have to go with a smaller frog. 17 minutes? Yeah, okay. Right, okay. Then let's do the calibration. Let's do the full thing. Now, yeah, let's try that out. If it's not a part of the official one, but yeah, I'm supposed to do it, and I'm still gonna do it. Okay. Just adjusting the second camera. There you go. Okay. I do need to see the printer. System. Maintenance. Calibration. Calibrate lift switch. Don't need to do the calibrate XY. Well, okay, next print is just going to be a single material, so we don't need to calibrate XY. Calibrate Z offset. I mean, looking at the part, the Z offset was okay. It was a bit too low, but it's overall, it's okay. It should have stuck. Okay. Please do, please do. Considering calibration diagnostics. Do we even get a build plate manual leveling? Okay, there we go. Let's see how that process works for the Ultimaker 3. There's our calibration card. Let us go through the process of adjusting your build plate. Let us do that, actually. Rotate the button to move the build plate until it's 1 millimeter away from the print core. Okay, which button? I'm guessing like the thumb wheel? Which? Oh, that button. Okay, so the click wheel. Okay. It's 1 millimeter. Okay, let's do 1 millimeter. That looks like a millimeter. Turn the right build plate screw until it is 1 mil. Yeah, that's the same 1 millimeter. Okay. Turn the left build screw. That's also roughly a millimeter. Okay. Next, we'll fine-tune the build plate level using the calibration card. Okay. Move card under the nozzle, adjusting screw until you feel a bit of resistance. So should I do that now? Oh, I was supposed to do that now. But what if it's at a millimeter? I'm just going to adjust this up, and this is pretty much at the end of its thread right now. Okay, I guess we're just going to have to rerun that. So that one's okay. Yeah, so in general, whenever it's like a wizard sword sort of setup, a wizard sort of process, whether it's for auto leveling or for I do want to have that information of what's going to happen when I click that next button. Is it going to move, or when should I click it? Should I click, yes, I now have the calibration card under the nozzle, or actually I don't want to do that because the rear one isn't adjusted. Oh gosh! Let's do that again. Okay. But, oh. Now we're doing the millimeter thing again, okay. I have a feeling that this was completely unnecessary because the default positions for all these three screws were pretty much spot on. So I don't know. I feel like this was not necessary. We'll calibrate the Z offset with the calibration card. Move card under the nozzle, rotate the wheel until you feel a bit of resistance. That's quite far away. So that's the Z offset for the other nozzle, but there's junk on the other nozzle. Ah! There we go, that's better. Okay, that's the same bit of resistance. That's it? Okay. Now we did the manual leveling as requested. Actually, we should be able to just click print over here, print over network, and it should print. We're using silver metal PLA, we're using 0.2, and we're printing a downscaled tree frog, so that's a very small print. I'm not doing the dual extrusion again, so that's going to be that's going to be again something for the full review, not something I want to do on air right now. And yeah, let's just try a simple print. It might actually be something physically wrong with the machine, I don't know. I checked it, it did look good, but you can never exclude that shipping damage. After all, when it came out of the box, I guess that's the best view you're gonna get. When it came out of the box, this rod was unhinged from the box on the side, so I did rehinge it. There might have been something shifting around. I do not know. So, yeah, I personally don't think this is the experience you should be getting out of the box with an Ultimaker. I firmly believe that this is not the typical one. But again, you guys in chat are suggesting the weirdest things, so yeah, it's not the typical unboxing you're going to see. By the way, for people asking, I did get this Ultimaker. It was provided by iGo3D, by the official German reseller. I'm not going to be able to keep it. I will have to return it. So yeah, I wish I could, but company politics, I guess. McRae is saying I should do the XY calibration is more important than Z. The thing is, I'm not printing dual extrusion right now. I'm just doing a very, very simple single extrusion print. Saying 17 minutes, so 17 minutes should be, yeah, a quick little print, so, yep. What was the problem with the original print? I do not know. So it looked like it was sort of a combination of the PVA extruder not extruding properly and the print lifting. So at one point I was just able to lift the print off of the bed. Don't think that's supposed to happen, but again, I manually lifted that out. But the PVA part of the print didn't look that good. Might just be something misaligned or so. So yeah. Did I try the phone app? That is a good question. Let's actually see what else the app can do while we're at it, while we're waiting for the machine to heat up. Ultimaker tips: make sure to clean the glass plate and apply a new layer of glue to it once in a while. What? Chat told me I wasn't supposed to use glue. Update the firmware, Ultimaker tips. Remember to apply the atomic method when switching between different materials. Say what? Say what? Can you read that? Remember to apply the atomic method when switching between filaments. Okay, thanks for the tip. I'll keep that in mind. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Troubleshooting. Let's see if it. Okay. Doesn't really say anything about the exact issue we were having right then. Troubleshooting, 3D printing stories, chips, how to plug. Ah, okay, so there's other tabs. These are really small on the tablet. Error messages. Okay, I didn't get any error message, so should be good. Kiter TMK in chat saying, hey, a 3,000+ euro printer use glue stick. I've got the Markforged Mark II. At the point where I got it, it was still called the Mark II Enterprise Edition. Right now it's just called the Mark II because they sort of resorted their assortment of products, and it's a 13,000 euro printer, and it also comes with glue stick. It actually comes with, let's see if I have it here. Yeah, it comes with a larger one of these. It's not this one, it's a different one. There it is. The 13,000 euro Markforged Mark II comes with Elmer's washable school glue. And that's what you have to apply before every print. So, come on. If it works, it can't be wrong, right? It's like, yeah. Glue stick, if it works, if it tells you to apply it in the setup guide, then I'm fine with glue stick. Yeah, people are asking about the smell of plastic that you're getting from this machine. So, as usual, that is going to... I look like I'm hiding behind the printer. There we go. As usual, that is heavily going to depend on the exact plastic or filament you use. You might just feed it with PLA. PLA has a smell to it. It does have a bit of a... What's the best way to describe PLA smell? I guess caramel, slightly burnt caramel. That, I guess, that could describe the smell you're getting from PLA. Cotton candy, hot cotton candy. I guess that's sort of what it is. Yeah, that's the smell you're getting from PLA. There have been a few studies as to which filaments have the lowest particle count, which have the least harmful particles in there. The PLA filaments typically are pretty good on that front. They, because they are based on starch, essentially, they don't have any chlorine, whatever, or other harmful components to them. It's not like PVC, chlorine. But in general, PLA is a material that is widely considered as one that doesn't emit as many harmful particles as other filaments. So it's okay. No matter what filament you print with, I would always recommend printing in a separate room from the one you are in at the moment. So don't print in your living room or in your bedroom or something while you're in there. But PLA is a material you could print in that sort of a setup. Also, PET is pretty much smell-free, and yeah, PET or the TPE, which is how Ultimaker calls it, CPE, also does not have a smell to it, and I'm no chemist, but PETGs or copolyesters in general shouldn't have that many harmful emissions as well. So those are two materials that you can definitely print with a good conscience. Burnt pancakes. That's Waffle House. Yeah, that's sort of the PLA smell. Does this printer have a built-in camera? Yes, it does. That's what it looks like right now. It will actually get an overhaul, as far as I hear, in a new Cura version, and that's also going to include a new firmware version for the printer itself. Camera's crooked. So right now we are printing, someone's saying in chat, yeah, his filament is pretty clean, he fell asleep next to it. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. If your printer is emitting like chloroform or stuff, I can see how you'd fall asleep next to that. Yeah, so right now we are printing a scaled down tree frog, around 40% scale or so, at 0.2 millimeter layers, yeah, draft print settings, hollow, in fact. So pretty fast print, 17 minutes just to get a print out, and check. No, looking good, looking good. Let's switch over here. I mean, that the toolhead does look pretty nice, and the Ultimaker overall does have a nice and understated design. I sort of like that it's not super flashy, it's not like super clean and stuff. It's sort of like a clean middle ground. Yeah, filament like wax. There is actually a... Haha. Okay, inside the mind of Matt is actually asking about filament like wax, because he's looking at filament for casting, and I'm actually working on a project using 3D printing for casting, for steel casting, but doesn't matter. Aluminum is sort of the is sort of a similar process anyways. It's the same principles. And the one big challenge we're seeing is the geometries we can print. So it's not about the machines that work, it's about support material essentially. It is about printers that don't come with a second hot end, with a support material system that works well. And for that application, I can really see the Ultimaker working extremely well. Essentially the process looks like, I mean, you can look at a Polymaker's Polycast is a filament that is specifically made for casting, but the process is the same whether or not you use the Polycast filament or whether you use a regular PLA. It should work with PLA as well. And essentially what you do, you print the part, you remove all the support materials, whether that's through a water-soluble process or through a manual removal, and then it gets coated. That's the word. It gets coated with a ceramic shell, with a ceramic liquid that hardens. You burn out the inner PLA or Polycast core, and then you're left with this shell that you can use to cast new parts. And again, the main limitation there is, well, first of all, printer size, which the Ultimaker can't help with, but also support material and allowable geometries. Because let's face it, every real-world print that isn't optimized for a 3D printer, every real-world print that isn't specifically made to be 3D printed is going to have some geometry in there that will require support material. And water-soluble support material is a great first step for that, but also, having a process that really allows you to use the second material, the support material, well, that's also really important for that. So yeah, and in general, that's sort of the direction I see the Ultimaker 3 making. Did I say Ultimaker 2 a minute ago? No. That's sort of the general area where I see the Ultimaker 3 making a lot of sense. Just, the classic idea of Ultimaker, just giving people a 3D printer that works, and expanding on that with a 3D printer that not only works, but one that also is not only easy to use as far as the process goes, because a lot of machines can do that these days. Just, having auto leveling, having a good software tool chain, having all those things integrated and working well. But also, giving an experience that makes it easier for people to model for 3D printing. It makes it easier for people to actually print the things they want to print. And yeah, the Ultimaker 2 with Cura, the Ultimaker 3 with dual extrusion, and the improvements they're doing to Cura for dual extrusion and support material support is sort of, you know, the first step in that. The Ultimaker 3 is a machine that you can get right now that is hopefully, I mean, I wouldn't expect Ultimaker to release something that doesn't work, so I'm just going to assume that the dual extrusion process should work, even though we did just see a failure. But having the machine as a first that works as a tech basis, that's great. That's a machine that you can buy right now if you want dual extrusion. I see it sort of as an impulse for more manufacturers to pick up dual extrusion and to learn from what the Ultimaker 3 does and does well and doesn't do as well, and, you know, add their own taste to it, their own specialties, their own details to the entire process and the setup. And, you know, I'm hoping that the 3D printing is going to go that route of dual extrusion, because it's just so powerful. Yeah. So our frog is coming out, and it's 0.2 millimeter. It's the lowest quality the Ultimaker 3 will actually print. So right. Anything else I should check on the Ultimaker 3 right now, or for the full-on review? Chat, let me know. What would you like to see with the Ultimaker 3? Because I'm going to have this thing for a few weeks, at least. Basically as long as I need it, but at least until the end of this year. So let me know, what should I check out? Of course, I will be focusing on dual extrusion a lot, because that is like the big feature of this machine. But anything else? Yeah, Wi-Fi functionality. It seems like, from what I'm seeing right now, it seems like a very, very basic Wi-Fi interface. Just, you know, the integration into Cura, nothing really web-based that would give you sort of an interface or cloud slicing or the likes. It's just a replacement for the USB cable. I'm gonna see how much the how much that entire Wi-Fi interface does. Printing without the network cable plugged in, that is a good question, whether or not we can just unplug the Ethernet. I don't want to do it right now. I could, but that's going to be something to try out. I would assume that the Ultimaker 3 has a cache or a temporary storage in there, that as soon as it starts to print, it just downloads the entire thing and stores it on the machine. Because if you're running it through Wi-Fi and you get a signal drop, you wouldn't want the machine to just stop dead in its track and stop printing. That wouldn't be great. So people are asking me to compare the benchies from different printers. Yeah, that might be something I can do. I mean, the benchy in general, it is a great test print, because it just tests so many things in a single print. And if you're printing test parts on your own printers, I'd always recommend printing a benchy over something like a calibration cube. A 10mm calibration cube really doesn't tell you anything about your machine. So yeah, the benches, I do keep the benches from the machines that I test, so I will be able to compare those. Matthias Christiansen is asking, does PVA work with flexible filaments or does it not stick well? I think it should work. I'm going to try out if Cura actually allows me to use PVA with flexibles or not. So yeah, I'm going to try those combinations and just see what works and what does not. I do have, okay, I don't have a flexible. I do have CPE, the polyester from Ultimaker. I might have some sort of a flexible in 2.85. I do have Tallman 910, which isn't exactly a flexible, but it's nylon based, at least it contains nylon. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask the guys from iGo3D, maybe they can provide a flexible material later on. They didn't have one right now, but it might come into stock. Yeah, of course, the test prints that are, you know, the official Ultimaker 3 showpieces that they're showing off in their launch video on the teaser sites, the gyro cube, the 2-part drill. I'm going to be testing those and see how well it prints on an actual real printer in the wild. That's like a super simple print to do. Yeah, gyro, the cordless drill, what else? That bench with the super slim feet. That's going to be something to try. And in fact, what we're going to try right now, let's see, the print is coming out sort of okay. So if it stops now, we will still have learned something. I'm just going to unplug the Ethernet. Like, why not? Still printing. So the Wi-Fi is not configured, so this thing doesn't have any sort of network connection right now. It's still printing. Is it saying anything? It's not saying anything. What's Cura like? Okay, so Cura is actually saying connection with the printer was lost. Check your printer to see if it is connected. And that print is done actually. So right, it's not connected to a printer, but print finished. So from what that tells me, you can unplug the Ethernet or go through Wi-Fi dropouts without a problem. Finalizing. Okay, so that one wasn't ready. Print finish, carefully remove the print from the build plate. Okay. How careful do I have to be? Like that. Okay, that works. That works. Ready then. Okay. Are you sure that's the Ethernet and not the power cord? No, because the power cord is locking. The power cord uses that. Let's get these out of the way. There's our Meanwell power brick. The power cord is locking. You can just pull on that. It's not going to come out. It does have a second sleeve that you have to pull back before the cord is going to come out, which is great. I wish some other printer manufacturers would learn from that and actually use a locking connector like that. Right. Let's have a quick look at the Benchy and at the Froggy and how it came out. So Again, keep in mind this is the absolutely lowest quality the Ultimaker 3 will print. This was printed hollow, this was printed with 0.2 millimeter layers. So essentially, you know, complete potato quality as far as the what the Ultimaker 3 usually does. So its belly does sort of have a bit of curling, but that is expected at these larger layer heights. But overall, surface finish is, where's our focus? There's our focus. Surface finish is good. It works as a quick first print. So yeah, again, I don't want to draw any hasty conclusions on the machine. I've just done 1.5 prints. So yeah, as usual, stay tuned for the full review that is going to come in the next few weeks. A week or two or so, depending on how fast I get through with the prints. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me for today, pretty much. Anything I missed? I don't think so. But there you go. Quick first look at the Ultimaker 3 provided by iGo3D. If you're considering buying one, links are in the video description, obviously. If you like the stream, if you learned something about the, peeling off the brim. If you learned something about the Ultimaker 3, if you just enjoyed the entertainment, give the stream a like, subscribe. There's more videos, obviously, more edited and scripted videos, and also live streams every weekend. Thanks again to the guys from iGo3D for sticking around. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. By the way, just before this stream started, I did upload a video on how to build yourself a filament storage box. It's right here, right there. How to make yourself a dry box for filament, for nylons or PVAs, as we're using on the Ultimaker 3. So check that out if you get nothing better to do on this nice Saturday. But yeah, stay tuned for the full review. Thanks for being here, thanks for watching, and have a nice weekend. See ya.